Hey everybody, just wanted to say thanks so much for taking a little bit of time to watch this video. Super excited to be able to tell you this story that I sent into testimonies@solidlives.com. So if you have something amazing that God is doing in your life, definitely send it in, and that's testimonies@solidlives.com. So early in my adult life, I chose the route of chasing after the things of this world and, mainly money. And I was told that in order to win, you kind of had to acquire the biggest or the prettiest or the shiniest, the newest, kind of whatever. And this was the good life, right? Wrong. Slowly but surely, as the years passed on living this way, I found myself with multiple addictions. And actually, it was just kind of an attempt to numb the stress and misery of attempting to have to accomplish my goals on my own. Now, worst of all, I'd actually developed an incredibly unhealthy love for money, and it could really never be satisfied. There was next to nothing I wasn't willing to compromise, really depending on the size of the check. So fast forward now to 2012. I lost everything. The stuff, the home, the girl, the job, the position and the provision, but God, right? Now, when you lose it all, you kind of have a tendency to reflect on, what happened. And I began to remember my happiest times. And those were absolutely when I was walking with the Lord as a teenager. Now, upon that realization, I made the decision to start attending church pretty much full time again and found myself at the Rock. Now, listen, I can give testimony after testimony about the ensuing years where I was healed of addiction and anger and debt and lust. But really, those are stories for another time. And fast forward now to 2018. I knew it was time for me to leave the job that I was working at to really look for something new. I had nothing lined up at that point, but I just knew that it was time to go. So I kind of stepped out in faith. So after almost a year of having the Lord cover my bills, and was literally never late one time, I was approached about a very lucrative job at a growing global company. Now, I was immediately brought back to my time where I was a slave to money. And since I knew I didn't want to return to that bondage, I literally took 3 months of seeking God while also getting the counsel of some trusted friends in the faith before I even applied. The process ended up taking roughly 8 months, 10 plus interviews, 2 denial letters, and a partridge in a pear tree before I actually got an acceptance letter for the current role I have. And just as a side note to that story, if there's someone here hearing this going through a long battle, doesn't mean it's not God. If he said it, just don't give up. Now, anyways, back to the job. Getting it was awesome. The compensation was top tier. The benefits were all encompassing. And really to top it off, I'd just never been better at or enjoyed a job more in my life. 7 months later, however, COVID hits. The world was thrown into chaos seemingly overnight. There were concerns in the organization around March of 2020. There was going to be layoffs, and honestly, those concerns kind of turned out to be true. The next month in April of 2020, our CEO let us know that the process of trying to go public was halted indefinitely. Unfortunately, on top of that, 10% of the organization, which was right around 200 people, they were also going to be let go due to the uncertainty of the pandemic. Now, there were people who didn't know the Lord, and they were very much on edge. But I'm a tither, and here's what's transpired since then. Number one, I kept my position, even though I had a shorter tenure than some of my peers who didn't get to keep theirs. One of those people included one of the 2 roles that I was denied for. Number 2, in June of 2020, my compensation was changed for the second half of the year to be directly aligned with the performance of a small, specific group of sales reps in the organization. So, in other words, my commission was completely out of my hands now, but it clearly wasn't out of God's. Most of the people who ended up on my team, they had record years for themselves, and one of them ended up the salesman of the year for the entire organization. Number 3, in August of 2020, I was given a raise along with a rock star status from my boss. In October of 2020, we actually ended up being able to go public due, in part, to my West Coast team's incredible performance in the second half of the year. This triggered a stock option vesting schedule for myself. Number 5, in December of that year, the company decided to just give everyone a tax-free 4-figure bonus for Christmas. This was unprecedented in the history of the organization. Number 6, On January 11th of 2021, I was one of 6 engineers in an approximately 1,900 person organization to be recognized as a President's Club winner, which is a top tier performance award, also comes with a sizable bonus. Number 7, on January 19th of this year, I had my review with my boss, his new boss, and then his boss, where I was told that there were big plans for 2021. And during that meeting, phrases were thrown around like, "We see you, we need you, you're integral, help us replicate you." Then they gave me a 10% raise. And just because God loves to show off for his people, on January 21st of this year, I was able to win a contest where we had to spend 10 minutes demonstrating the value of one of our products to management and got another bonus. Now listen, all of this did not happen by accident or because I'm special or did anything great. It happened because I was taught that the real way to win in life is to come to Jesus, ask him to tell me what I was built to do, then hold on to what he says until my knuckles turn white and walk it out until it comes to pass. Everyone, this Jesus life just isn't fair. I went from being $60,000 in debt as an addict to now I'm someone who in a year of worldwide famine was able to flourish and give whatever I was asked to out of an abundance of blessing. Now that's what I call living the good life.